Good morning. Today is Monday. This is sixth grade. This is religion. Hopefully everybody had a good weekend. Hopefully everybody's on board. I'm going to try to make videos. I asked sixth grade, the number one, you read before you ask a question. Number two, watch the video. And if you have a question, let me know. Pause at any time. Feel free to pause at any time. That's why I make a video as opposed to just listing an answer key. A list answer key, you're not going to get the full details. So what I'd like you to do is please take out a pen, okay? Workbook page 33, 34, 35, and 36 were supposed to be posted. It was Friday's work, but I said you can do it by the end of the weekend. So let's share the screen here so you could see a little bit. So right now, if you're watching this video and you haven't posted 33, 34, 35, and 36 in a full sentence in pencil, do that right now. Take a moment and do that right now. It needs to be submitted on time. Okay, but do that right now. Right now, after you submitted it, so let's say you've submitted the pictures. I don't care if it's 4 pictures. I don't care if it's 40 pictures. 1 picture. Submit however you can do it, okay? Excuse me. Let's correct workbook page 33, 34, 35, and 36. Page number 33, please turn there now. Number 1. Is it good to be a member of a community? Of course it is good. Yes, it is good to be a member of a community so we can share ideas and we can work together for the good of overall society. Number 2, do people in a community or do people in communities have to work together? Yes, excuse me, absolutely. They do have to work together for the good of their country, for the good of their community, and the other people in that society. Number 3, who has authority over us? Well, who does? Our parents. Our parents, number 1, and number 2, the state have authority over us. So our parents and the state have authority over us. We're younger, so we're looking up to them to guide us, to lead us in our best interests, so we can grow and eventually develop into well-educated citizens. Number 4, from whom does the state receive its authority? The state receives its authority from God. One nation under God. The state receives its authority from God. 5, what did St. Paul teach us about this? I want to put a star next to this one. St. Paul says that if we resist authority, we resist what God has appointed. For example, if we're resisting an authority figure, such as a police officer who's trying to correct us, trying to help us in our best interest, for us, for the best interest of our community, and we're resisting what they have to say, we are basically resisting what God has appointed, because those individuals are and should serve for our best interest. So by resisting them, we're going against whom God has appointed. What is the purpose of the state? Number 6. The purpose of the state is to promote what is truly good for all its members. To promote what is truly good for all of its members. 7. Should the state ever demand something that is contrary to God's law, contradicts, goes against? Should the state ever have a law that would contradicts God's law or laws? No, the state should never have a law or series of law that goes against God's law, or the 10 Commandments, right? However you want to word that, you need to know that the state should never demand something that goes against it, because the state is supposed to serve in our best interest. 8, if it did, what would the state be doing? So if the state came up with a law that goes against God's law, what would it be doing? It would be denying its own authority because its authority comes from God. So if they came up with a law that goes against one of the commandments, what is happening there is they're going against its own authority because the authority of the state comes from God. Number wrong on the top, please. Page 34. So make the corrections. I do want you to correct in pen. Add some more. I do not want to just see check marks, check, I'm done. That's the disservice to my time because I'm taking time to record this to help you, to guide you. So add the details there. What I would ask you to do is you're on your next workbook, page 34. You have that open. Go to your textbook, okay? Page 49. Page 49 in the textbook. Have that open. Let's double check this page. So have them both side by side. Okay. Number one. When did St. Thomas More live? St. Thomas More lived in the 16th century. You could have 16th century. We'll take that. We'll take 1535 or we'll take 1500s. Either would be fine. 1535, 1500, 16th century, you could write all three if you like. Describe the office Sir Thomas More held. And I might say sir, I may say saint, it's the same individual. What office did he hold? So what was his title? What was his job title? Sir Thomas More was Lord Chancellor. Lord Chancellor. So his job title was Lord Chancellor. He was second in power only to the king. So second in authority only to the king. Therefore, Sir Thomas More held an extent amount of power, an extent amount of authority because he was only second in command from the king. 3. Second in command. Okay, so who is the king? Name the king who reigned in England at the time of Sir Thomas More. Who was the king at the time of Sir Thomas More while Sir Thomas More served as Lord Chancellor? King Henry VIII reigned in England. King Henry VIII reigned in England. Excuse me. What decision did Sir Thomas More have to make? As you saw in a little paragraph there may be some individuals who know a little bit more about him. He had to choose whether to obey God's law or man, authority from the king. This kind of connects very, very clearly to page 33, where there's a law that is contradicting, going against God's law. So Sir Thomas More had to choose between God's law and the law of man. 5. What did the king, so King Henry VIII, what did the king want Sir Thomas More to declare? So what is the king asking of Sir Thomas More that goes against the faith, contradicts the faith? The king wanted Sir Thomas More to declare that he, the king, was the supreme head of the Church of England. The king, King Henry VIII, wanted Sir Thomas More to say that he, King Henry VIII, as king, was the supreme head of the Church of England. That's what he's asking of Sir Thomas More. Some of you may ask, okay, what are we getting at? Why is that wrong? Think about it for a moment as we cover number 6. Was this right or wrong, and why? Please explain why. No, yes, or no answers, please. This was wrong because the king cannot declare himself the head of the church. This is wrong because the king cannot declare himself the head of the church. Because we know on earth, right, the Pope is the visible leader of the Catholic Church on earth. But we know the leader of the church is God. Whom did Sir Thomas More serve first? Number 7. Who did Sir Thomas More put first always, serve first always? Of course, the answer is God. Sir Thomas More served God first. He always placed God first. 8. Sir Thomas More is following God's law. He's not following the law of man, of King Henry VIII. He's following God's law. So what happened? Number 8. What happened to him because of his decision? Him meaning Sir Thomas More. As a result of his decision, Sir Thomas More was beheaded. And in turn, he became a martyr. Sir Thomas More is known as a great martyr in the Catholic faith because he was willing to sacrifice his life for God, putting God first, always in his life, up until the end. What is it called, number 9, when one lays down his life or her life as a witness to the truth? Somebody willing to sacrifice their life for the faith, basically. What is that called? We all know that this is called being a martyr. This is called martyrdom. Being a martyr. Martyr would be fine. Martyr willing to sacrifice one's life for the truth of faith, for God, putting God first. 10. What title has the church given St. Thomas More? You could put 2. I'd put 2 here. The church has given St. Thomas More the title of saint and martyr. Saint and martyr due to his great devotion to God at all times. Saint and martyr, the great St. Thomas More. Number wrong on the top, 33, 34. If you have any questions, go back, fix them now. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and continue with 35. 35. Again, a deeper connection now to 35. It's our rights and responsibilities as good citizens. What responsibilities do we have as citizens? Let's jot down a bunch. Think, some of these don't apply to you right now, but some of these may apply to mom, dad, or guardian, somebody older. And you'll get what I mean by that in a moment. So let's jot down a few. We must be good citizens, okay? We must be good citizens, number 1. We must be good citizens. What does that mean? We obey all laws and all regulations. We obey laws, we obey regulations. We pay our taxes. So right now, you might say, oh, Mr. Stray, I don't have to pay that right now. Well, somebody does. So mom, dad, guardian, grandparents, right? We pay our taxes. And 3, defend our country when necessary. Defend our country when necessary. So not aggressive military force, no. But we're called up to defend our country when it is necessary. What is patriotism? Number 2. What is patriotism? You may want to put a star here. Patriotism is the virtue of love for one's country. It is the virtue of love for one's country. And since we're doing this virtually, it's a little easier for me to show you. But over the years, the United States has had many individuals who have strived to be patriotic, to stand up for our nation in times of need, some more than others. And our nation has seen several leaders over the years. So I'm going to show you a couple items. We might find this interesting. So just showing you, because you may find this interesting, but the following here that I'll show you is a business card actually from President Gerald R. Ford, who served in the 1970s, took over after President Nixon resigned. This is Gerald R. Ford's business card from the White House. All he needed there was the White House, Washington. Pretty cool. And that's his official business card, which is signed by him. Richard Nixon, of course, there's a whole story we're going to get to in history in the next couple of years. But Richard Nixon, an individual whom led the nation for some critical times, especially during the Vietnam War. Richard Nixon would have to make several decisions that would impact many lives of young Americans, men and women. This is a signature that is cut from a document of Richard Nixon. Of course, don't want to get into scandal and everything right now, but we'll definitely talk more about him. And during times of war, you have these young, brave men and women serving our nation. And you've also had individuals who have gone there to entertain these brave troops and show them that we support them. And I'm going to show you a couple clips. There's a second part to this, but I have a couple items. So number one, you're going to see another clip of this. This is a great legendary comedian by the name of Bob Hope. And if you're not sure who that is, grandma or grandpa may know that. Bob Hope, and attached some videos with some questions, is an individual who devoted a lot of time to serving our nation, a great patriotic individual who was always devoted to showing troops great appreciation. This is a photograph that signed by a great friend who lived to be 100 years young, passed away in 2003. And then I have another one, a great friend of his who passed away long before him. This is the great legendary comedian by the name of Bing Crosby. Why am I showing you him? Is because these two talents, these two talented individuals, Bob Hope, a great comedian, Bing Crosby, actor, singer, performer, they devoted their talents, shared their talents to these brave young men and women serving all over the world. And they took a lot of time out of their schedule, many of those times without any pay, and leaving their own families so they can serve and show the greatness of this country. And hopefully you can understand that a little bit deeper in this lesson and the importance of it, especially during times of troubled times and times of war. 3, is this virtue in keeping with Christianity? Does this virtue of patriotism follow Christian values? Absolutely. Absolutely. It follows Christian values because it's showing love for our country. Number 4, as citizens, what is our concern? I want to put a star on this one. As citizens, we are concerned with the health and well-being of our country. As citizens, we should always be concerned with the health and well-being of our country. 5, is everything that is legal morally good? So if you're able to legally do something, does it always mean that it's good for you? It's great for you? No. Not everything that is legal is morally good. Not everything is legal is morally good. Should we support immoral laws? Number 5, should we support immoral laws? No, because they contradict what God wants from us. 7, what are we to do when the government legalizes immoral action? So if the government says something is legal, but it is immoral, we must do all that we can to overturn any decision that legalizes an immoral action. So if some law that we feel is immoral, that is not right, what can we do? Well, we can speak how we feel, peacefully, nothing violent, nothing aggressive, but we can speak to hope, share our opinions of others, unite, and do our best to overturn. That means to override. We can't override it. The government have to, but we can help to overturn it, to override it, to show that these actions are immoral. Give some examples of immoral things that the government has declared legal. Number 8. Let's jot down a few here. Number 8, the example though I'm going to give you is slavery. At one point in our nation, slavery was legal. Does that mean that that was okay, that's acceptable, that's moral? No, because God created each of us equal. We are all equal in the eyes of God. It is not right for man to categorize individuals or put individuals over others. Slavery was legal, but we know that it's immoral. It's immoral because it's placing other individuals higher than others. It's making other individuals perform different duties, different work, and going against everything that God and our faith stands for. So that's the example I'm going to leave you with. And you may have a couple others. You can always share them with me in the comments if you like. I'm Google Classroom. But what I'd like you to do right now is number one on the top and let me know if you have any questions. Well, 36, I gave you an article. So let's take a look at the article that I gave you. Right here, this article, okay? Students to fulfill Jody's dream by building a school in Haiti. So number one, as Christians, we must be concerned about the needs of all people. Find an article about a group of people in need, write the name of that group, name of country, or name of ethnic group. So, number one, basically what we need here, what you need to have is this group here is a group of Greenwich High School students who are working to help. So what you should have here is they're concerned about helping, okay, Haiti. They're concerned about helping underprivileged children in Haiti. Why do these people need our help? Well, these children need our help because they live in a poor community. They live in a poor community. And they have faced many challenges, including natural disasters, such as earthquakes. And this group of girls, they formed a chapter. These group of girls at Greenwich High School and Rye Country Day School in Rye, New York, they formed a chapter, a nonprofit build-on chapter, to construct schools in developing countries all over the world. And this article specifically focuses on building the school in Haiti, because all individuals should have equal opportunity at education. And that's what these girls are trying to promote through their activity. 3, what kind of help do they need most? We're talking about the individuals in Haiti. Well, they need money to build a school, but they don't have the money to build a school. So this group of girls in Greenwich and boys in Greenwich decided to raise money. They need to raise $35,000 to build the school through various fundraisers. So the help that these children in Haiti need is to receive education, to have a school, but they needed individuals in a more privileged country such as ours. And these boys and girls who in Greenwich and Rye, New York felt that they were privileged, they're going to go ahead and help them. What can our country do for these people? Our country, just like these young people represented, not much older than you, shows that we must work together for the good of people in the entire world. That one person truly can make a difference. But especially like this group here, what did they do? They all wanted to see a change. So the group decides to work together to make that change a reality. Yes, speak about it, but take action to improve this world as God would want us to. Our country can continue to go ahead and show us examples such as this one and how it has changed the lives of these individuals in impoverished countries or individuals in our nation who need our help. And what can you do for the people? Well, again, these individuals not much older than you, typically up 16 years old, okay, 17 years old, not much older. I showed you a group in the midterm, 15 years old. What you could do is learn more about what's going on in this country, what's going on in other countries, and how can you support them? Could it be that you donate clothing in that back bin near the field behind our school? When you outgrow, instead of throwing them out, you donate them there. Or maybe you send them back to somebody you know in another country whom you may be related to, or as a friend or someone you may know that can bring them there. Or donating to a church, Tigers in Action club, who is going ahead and having all these great activities where we're helping individuals who are not as privileged as we are. What we can do is look at these people and put, not be selfish, and look at these individuals as God would, and put them first, in the sense of not being always, what is it in for me? Do I get service hours? Do I get credit? Do I get recognition? Do I get my picture in the newspaper? No, it should be, what can I do for these individuals, and how can they now succeed with my help and the help of all of our great friends involved. You should have added a lot of details on the 4 pages. If there's any that just have checks and no details, will not receive full credit. What do you have to do for today to earn the credit for this class? 5 points. Post a series of pictures of these 4 workbook pages corrected. Again, in detail. These 4 workbook pages corrected in detail. I have gone ahead and I've asked you a question. Google Classroom. There are some individuals that on the social studies post for your choice, Wax Museum choice, wrote a sentence like this: I chose this person, period. The person is King Tut, period. This person is interesting, period. There are a few of you that did that. I'm telling you that we need to give you credit for these lessons. So that's not credit. That's not a full period of work. There's some individuals who went in great detail. So watch the clip I have online, answer the question that I have for you, and it should be following the details that I ask. Please read first before you watch. Read first before you write. You will have 2 assignments posted by the end of today. Number 1, the 4 workbook pages we just corrected. Post the picture. If you're struggling, send an email. Number 2, the reflection post. If you have any questions, please let me know. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Until next time, keep reviewing. This is religion. This is 6th grade, and we are at home.